So I'm going to introduce you to anyone who's watching and doesn't know who you are. So I'm
Okay.
so excited to introduce Elissa Goodman. She is a beloved holistic nutritionist whose passion for health and healing runs deep. And after facing a lifetime of personal health challenges, including cancer diagnosis and Hashimoto's in her 30s, Elissa turned her own healing journey into a mission to help others. She's also no stranger to heartbreak, having lost her husband Mark to cancer in his 40s. And through it all, Elissa has transformed her struggles into powerful lessons, dedicated her life to educating and empowering others to take control of their wellness and compassion and purpose. So, thank you so much for being here. What we really want to talk about is what women need to know for prevention and long-term health. So, I'm just going to get right into it if that's cool with
Okay.
you.
Yeah, it's totally cool
Okay.
because there's so much to cover.
There
So
is a lot to cover. Okay. So you were born with a low white blood cell count and you were constantly sick, and then you were diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma shortly after moving to LA.
yeah,
What was going through your mind during that time, and how did that experience spark your journey into nutrition and wellness?
I think that, the main point of, I feel getting diagnosed at an early age was when I was growing up, I was sick all the time because of that low white blood cell count. In those days, no one knew what to do for it. It was just like get more sleep and that was it.
Yeah.
There weren't supplements. We didn't talk about food, all of that. So constantly getting sick in and out of the hospital, just like feeling really like not good about myself because my energy was low always. I didn't even really feel like I was cognitively functioning that well. Plus, emotionally, I felt behind the eight ball all the time.
Yeah.
So I was overcompensating for 30 plus years until I got diagnosed, with all of that.
Yeah.
So emotional, physical, just all of it. And I was climbing the corporate ladder and trying to be successful because I had two parents who were massively successful and make money. And, living in New York and LA is not cheap.
Yeah.
So it was all about money and
Yeah.
success and, achieving things in your early life. And it just totally burned me out. And once I moved here, I was working for Vogue magazine at the time. And it was Devil Wears Prada. I mean, it was the worst job I'd ever had. I had some bad ones, but that was the worst one. The stress of that just, I feel like put me over the edge.
Yeah.
And I don't think it gave me cancer, but it did not help the situation. And that's when I was diagnosed when I was working there. So it was just eating too much sugar, too much caffeine, lack of sleep,
Yeah.
not taking care of my emotional well-being.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what calm was or self-love or putting myself first. And
I
that,
really relate to that because I am the founder of Mama Soul. And for those who are new to learning about Mama Soul, it's a 100% mineral sun care brand that I developed when I was 5 months pregnant with my first son. And I couldn't find a sunscreen that I loved or enjoyed using. But in addition to that, we've created a whole wellness community because of everything you just said.
yeah.
Because so we incorporated a subtle hint of lavender essential oil in our formulas to encourage deep breathing. Because I agree. Like it's so easy to get lost in all of your daily chores, your to-do lists, being in front of the computer all day, taking care of your kids, and it's really easy to get just so burnt out. So this is our way of giving that reminder to take care of yourself. So I totally feel you on that. Um, okay. So you've shared that a pivotal moment in your healing was when a doctor asked about your emotional well-being. Can you talk about the role emotional healing and stress management played in your recovery and how you began to connect those dots?
So I think it's fascinating because this radiologist sat me down when my cancer was diagnosed and said, are you happy? Do you love yourself? Do you love what you do? Do you love your work? Do you love your husband? Like all these questions. And I'm like, what doctor asked those questions?
Yeah.
Still to this day, Heather, doctors don't ask those
Sorry,
questions.
Arielle, you're just seeing Heather is also on here.
Oh, I saw. Okay, okay, sorry. So sorry, but that's really embarrassing.
That's
Oh,
okay.
Arielle, sorry, I didn't have my glasses on. But yeah, no, the doctors don't ask those questions these days. And I just burst into tears. I was so stressed.
Yeah.
I didn't know what any of that meant. I wasn't happy. because I didn't even know how to be happy. So right then, like he said, let's get your emotional well-being. We can beat this if we can
Yeah.
get you back on track. And so I went into therapy, of course. I read every self-help book. I started doing yoga. I started like hiking and walking outside. We had just moved from New York to LA, so we had that access. Yoga was big here. I just really dove into what was gonna make me happy and what was gonna connect to me being calmer and more feeling more safe and nourished and just all those things in my mindset.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful thing because that's when I started it, which was 30 years ago. And it was pivotal, absolutely 100%, probably one of the top things that I did that helped me get past the cancer. I did do some radiation only because my friends and family were freaking out about me not doing any Western meds. If I had to do it again, I would not have done radiation.
Wow.
So I did half the radiation. I did no chemo, but that just saved my
So
life.
just like getting out into nature and just prioritizing your mental health and maybe meditation, did that play a part in it as well?
Absolutely. I journaled, I meditated.
Yeah.
My favorite cancer book is Radical Remission and Radical Hope. Radical Remission was written by Kelly Turner. She actually investigated for like 10 years stage 4 cancer cases. They healed holistically. Now, I believe in Western and,
Yeah.
holistic methods, but they healed holistic without Western. And it was really out of the 10 modalities she came up with, 7 were emotional stress, all of those,
Yeah.
just dealing with trauma.
Yep.
And the 8th one was food, the 9th one was supplements, and the 10th one was exercise. So,
Wow. I mean,
mhm.
that's so I just the fact that more doctors aren't asking those questions and getting you to change the way you think, that's
Yeah.
what I think is like I'm reading a book right now called Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. I don't know
Oh,
if you're
I've read that.
familiar.
I love him.
And yeah, and just how people can heal themselves with their thoughts
Yeah.
and self-help and being outside in nature. And I'm just so glad to have somebody like you on to show other women and other people who are going through something similar or people who just want to prevent this from happening to them what they can do to change their lives. So okay, so after your healing journey you began using food as medicine. For women in their 40s and 50s navigating fatigue, hormone shifts, and brain fog, how can they begin using food to support themselves?
Well, there's a few things to start out with. It's watching your added sugar intake. It's like the processed foods with the added sugar. It's the protein bars that say it has 12 grams of sugar. It's the green juice at Erewhon that says it has 18 grams of sugar because it has apple in it. So yes, that those two things.
So, meaning like don't drink that?
No, I let you, you really only are supposed to have 25 added grams of sugar per day. So
Okay.
those two things are way over the 25 added grams.
Okay.
I mean, it's better to eat an apple and, drink a green juice with lemon and ginger. Like I'm very much a stickler when it comes to juices and adding a lot of sugar or fruit into them or beets
Yeah.
and carrots. But you just got to watch your added sugar intake. I mean, it makes the body acidic. It increases your adrenaline and cortisol. Like it does so many things to the body that aren't good. It's inflammatory.
Yeah.
So second thing is cow dairy. Like we have a hard time breaking down the casein molecule of cow. We not so much with sheep and goat. They're a little bit easier and better on the system. But cow is really inflammatory. So watching your cow in dairy intake. Also, gluten can be a problem, not for everybody, but if you overdo your gluten, it can be an issue. Your body knows, like when you eat gluten or you eat sugar or you eat cow, it tells you a lot of times that it didn't agree with you. Those bad seed oils that when we Postmate and Instacart in these foods from restaurants because they're using cheap omega-6 bad seed oils, those are inflammation. So in a nutshell, like those things are really important to take out of the diet because they're all inflammatory. They're just going to inflame you. They're not going to make you feel good. So it's really just eliminating the bad stuff. And then it's eating real food, whole foods, like eating an apple, having a salad,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
really having, enough protein throughout the day. You don't have to have large portions of protein, but like this size is 30 grams, like a palm size,
A day. So you want to have a palm
No, you
size a
want
day.
to have
Yeah.
actually probably three of those. So you want to
Okay.
have like it depends on you and your exercise routine, but I say 60 to 70 is minimum, 90 for exercising plus, so grams.
Okay.
But it's important to balance your blood sugar. So, and it's also important to get hormone free and sometimes grass fed and organic as much as possible, wild salmon. Try to get the cleanest forms you can with that. Um, it's really organic vegetables, organic fruits,
When
I,
you wash your vegetables, I've heard so many
yes,
conflicting things about using baking soda or mixing it with vinegar, and I've read that it cancels each other out. What do you
yeah.
recommend for washing your produce?
I really just wash my produce in water. Like I
Oh,
don't, I try to do the best I can. We can
yeah,
drive ourselves crazy. So
right.
I don't want people to go crazy with this stuff. It's
Yeah,
really just my cleanse, for example, that I've had for
yeah.
13 years in Los Angeles.
Yes, tell us
No
about it.
dairy, no gluten, no sugar, no processed food, no bad seed oils. It is plant-based with like animal protein bone broth. I'm just trying to get people to eat more plants. It's like 50 different plants in one day.
Wow.
But 5 days of doing this cleanse and or eating this reset program, people feel completely different. So I've seen for 13 years, people go from Monday to Friday and just be a different person. They're sleeping better, they're less
Wow.
bloated, their brain fog is down, they lose weight, and they're eating more than they normally would
Yeah.
because they're not eating inflammatory foods and they're not eating processed foods, you know.
I
So
need to get your cleanse. I'm doing it. I'm telling you, it's happening. I'm doing it. It's bathing
great.
suit season. And also, I just started having like, I just turned 40 and I started having like pain behind my knees and I'm like, what is happening? And I know it's from being inflamed. And so I
Yeah.
really think that could help a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's the inflammation is real. We're already inflamed before we ingest this food.
yeah,
We have toxins that are around us and in us that we
right.
can't avoid.
I love the thing about 25 added grams of sugar. I think that's going to stick with me. It's something I'm really going to pay attention to. And then, the protein. I
Yeah.
really do eat a lot of protein. What do you feel about bread? Like, do you limit the amount of bread? I mean, I eat sourdough bread, but what do
I
you
love
think?
sourdough.
Yeah,
Sourdough is fermented, it's easy to digest, it's easy on the system. So it does have some gluten, but people don't really have issues with it.
right.
It's the type of bread, just high quality bread and not overdoing it. So
Yeah,
again, I love pasta, I love bread, I love all the pizza,
yeah,
I love all those things, but it's just really, not doing it all the time.
sure.
So there's another important thing is fiber. So we don't really focus on fiber as much as we should.
Yes.
Fiber is kind of crucial to detox the body, to keep food moving through the system.
Yeah.
So we really need 30 grams of fiber minimum.
Wow.
Okay, so
Okay.
we focus on protein. We don't focus on sugar really, but we focus on carbs and protein for
Yeah.
some reason. But the 30 grams of fiber are crucial because everybody's constipated.
Yeah.
They're not going to the bathroom enough. We're supposed to really go to the bathroom after every meal.
Oh, didn't know
I
that.
know. Isn't that
Okay.
crazy?
Yes.
We're supposed to go 2 to 3 times a day, but
What do you eat for your fiber? Like, what's your
so
favorite foods for fiber?
my favorite foods are fiber. Or you throw 2 tablespoons of chia seeds in your lemon water in the morning, it's 10 grams of fiber. You eat a cup of berries, it's 8.4 grams of fiber. You also have a half a cup of avocado, that's 9 grams of fiber.
I eat a lot of avocado. Okay, good.
So if you eat a whole avocado, it's 18 grams of fiber. It's like legumes and beans are great, but white beans, half a cup is 9.5 grams of fiber. I mean, quinoa, pumpkin seeds, like
Yes.
all those things
Okay.
are crazy.
Love these, love these, love these. Okay. My husband started putting pumpkin seeds in my eggs in the morning. So, and chia
Beautiful.
seeds. So he's helping me. Okay. You often talk about foods that support hormonal balance, mood, and energy. What are your top three powerhouse foods you recommend for women in this phase of life?
So it's interesting because I really feel like because we were talking about carbs, and I think complex carbs are powerful. basically because they're full of minerals and they calm your central nervous system down.
Right.
I think for, hormonal balance, what throws hormones off is your adrenals get fatigued, your thyroid's not functioning, the whole endocrine system, and then your hormones get thrown off. So
Right.
I feel like we don't de-stress enough and we don't like really balance out those we're eating, and protein's really good too. Clean protein,
Mhm.
like complex carbs, like quinoa, basmati rice, sweet potatoes, pumpkin, things like that. Beets and carrots are amazing. So they're also full of antioxidants. So I love those foods for balancing. I love protein. I would say fiber because we have to
Yes.
excrete excess estrogen that's recirculating in the body out
Yes.
of the body. And sometimes we don't do that. And when it recirculates, it causes all kinds of hormonal
I
imbalance.
love basmati rice, but I've heard so many mixed things about eating rice. So you are a proponent for that.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay. I like that.
I want you to get Lundberg because they test their
That's
rice
what I use. Yay.
for, yeah, arsenic. Rice can be very high in arsenic. And so,
That's exactly what I read. Okay, thank you. I'm glad I'm using the right brand. Okay, next question. So fiber seems to be a big theme, which we talked about, and we talked about it. Is we just talked about fiber, but tell us like why fiber is like the number one thing you should focus on.
so fiber helps heal the gut.
Okay.
It helps repopulate the probiotics and beneficial bacteria in your gut. Really important, creates butyrate, like super important for the gut.
Okay.
Secondly, it helps us like move food through the system, because we eat dinner, maybe we don't go to the bathroom till the next day, which is, whatever,
You're not regulated. Yeah.
yeah. So you really got to move food through in and out of the system and
Okay.
toxins too. It's really important because a lot of the stuff we eat or ingest is toxic.
Yeah.
So fiber is important for moving that food through and helping you go to the bathroom every day. It just is important for actually like cholesterol issues. So excreting cholesterol out of the body. It's just a really big, important detoxifier, I feel,
Great.
and for the gut. Keeping
I'm really going to be focusing on that. Okay. So you've emphasized the power of plant-rich, nutrient-dense diet, but you're not fully vegan. What's your take on finding a balanced, intuitive way of eating that works for midlife women? Because I myself have gone through phases of eliminating beef and I don't eat pork. And, I've toyed with the idea of becoming vegan or a pescatarian, all these things. There's so many different ways, and it's so confusing on like how to really do it right. Tell us, what's your take on finding that balance?
I know it's like everybody has an opinion these days and
Yeah,
even then some, right? Where
right.
it's like this health world has exploded. But I believe in moderation of everything. So a little bit of everything, as long as we talked about earlier, as long as it's a clean form, it's a whole form. Like I just think it's so crucial as women age, we do need complete protein to rebuild our muscle and our skeleton muscle, and balance our blood sugar. So it's really crucial that we get the protein. And also just, I just don't think we can get enough protein being
Yeah,
vegan, vegetarian. It's tricky.
yeah.
You have to be so diligent. If
So
you
diligent.
are, then more power to you. But I think it's really hard.
If somebody is vegan though, like what foods should you focus on?
So it's like all the legumes and beans and quinoa. It's also hemp seeds, all the nuts and seeds, pumpkin seeds, almonds, all the nuts. It's also, I don't love protein powders, but if I was vegan, I would do protein powders, a clean protein powder. So,
Okay.
but yeah, and vegetarian too. It's like I'm seeing a lot of vegans and vegetarians not doing so well these days, not having the energy.
Right.
Do blood work on clients. Their iron levels are tanking, their hormones are not doing well. It's interesting. And I'm just trying to get them to just investigate. You only need a little bit,
Right.
the animal protein or the red meat.
Yes, I'm
So,
coming.
yeah,
If anybody's on that's not muted, please just mute yourself. Sorry, guys.
that
Thank
was
you.
muted.
Okay. So
And I
on
love, we don't get enough plants. I mean, plants are crucial
yeah.
because they are loaded with vitamins and minerals and antioxidants, polyphenols, and all of that. So it just, I do tell people 8 to 10 cups of vegetables a day. Sometimes that like just like their eyes glass over because like how do I do that?
8 to 10 cups of vegetables a
Yes.
day.
Yes.
That's what we should be eating.
Yes.
Oh my,
So
how do you
okay, I'll
keep on
tell you
top
how
of this?
easy. I'll tell you how easy this is. So, I mean, ever since I had cancer, I started juicing. And so what I do is I throw celery, cucumber, lemon, ginger, and spinach or other greens into a blender. I
Okay.
don't juice them these days because I want the fiber, but I have to tell you that's 4 to 5 cups right there.
Wow.
So I juice like 16 ounces. Drink that. It's like you're getting a liquid IV of vitamins and minerals, and you're getting the fiber, which is so beautiful. So then again, you have a salad, you're getting the rest of the cups, honestly.
Right. And
But
juicing is not, it's not like any added sugar. That doesn't contribute to your added sugar.
right,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
because I'm not adding any sugar
Okay.
to it. Yeah. So I mean, just that, or if you're having broccoli for dinner or carrots and beans, I mean, you easily can get it. We just need
Yeah.
to focus on, that, or you're doing a salad with lots of veggies and you're also doing like dinner, you're having a side salad and then you're having like broccoli and cauliflower and whatever.
Right.
You can easily get it. So,
Okay. So there, my next question is, but I think this might be, you might have just answered it. Are there any daily rituals or non-negotiables you've kept from your cancer recovery, like your like warm lemon or water and green juice? I know we just talked about juicing. I don't know if there's other things you want to mention.
yeah, juicing has been a 30-year thing that I love.
Yeah.
I would say, sleep was, I was one of those that the less sleep, it was a badge of honor. So 8 hours of sleep for women is crucial to restore your adrenals. So I am a sleep Nazi. I really get 8 hours as much as possible. I track my sleep. It's so crucial for detoxifying and restoring your body and healing your body.
Yeah.
So that was something that I learned back then when I had cancer. The third thing was journaling. Like when I go to bed at night, I'm a really high stress, high energy. I'm an Aries. Like I'm a doer, I'm a goer. Like, I'm just, my mind is working a million miles an hour. So I do write down a lot of times what bothered me during the day to get it on paper, to get it out of my system.
Mm,
And a lot of times I try to write down 3 things I was grateful for so I can be in a more like relaxed, mindful, ness
yeah.
going to sleep. And so I'm not worrying about all my stuff that I didn't do or things that went wrong. That I did 30 years ago was really crucial.
I
Just,
really like that, Alyssa, because I incorporate writing, I have a gratitude journal. So I do a lot of journaling myself and I do it before bed. But writing things that bothered you,
yeah.
that's new for me because I typically try to train my brain to only think positively. But I think it's really important. Like last night, I did some automatic writing. And for those who don't know what automatic writing is, it's when you literally just take a pen to paper and you just start writing whatever it is that you want to start writing. And one of the things I started last night was I started just listing everything that is stressing me out.
Mhm.
And it really made me feel better. I was like, oh
Oh,
my God, like it just cleared my mind. It made me focus more on what I could actually do to make me feel less stressed and not feel more stressed when it's like, my head's scrambling. So I
yeah.
really like that.
There's something about putting it on paper, getting out of your head, getting out of your body. I don't know. It's about writing it down, putting it on paper that it can release it. I
Yeah,
think for me, sometimes I have to write it 5 days in a row to release it. So
right.
sometimes it doesn't release in that one day or one shot, but it's powerful. I
I
know.
love that.
I would say, like, I always was someone who did go out and get morning sun.
Mm,
I love sunlight. It's like
mhm,
so crucial for me.
mhm.
So I always knew back then that it resets your circadian rhythms and it helps with your vitamin D because your vitamin D gets synthesized through the pupils of your eyes. So as much as I can, go out and get that morning sun
Yeah.
for 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, not long,
Yeah.
And that was kind of a game changer too.
That's great. I love that. So you've spoken about gentle ongoing detoxing rather than extreme cleanses, which I'm sure everybody will appreciate because those liquid diets I just can't do. Can you share some realistic daily detox practices that support the body without being overwhelming?
Yeah. So hydration is number one. So women need like 96 ounces, men need like 120. So we don't really get enough water. And it's really important to put minerals in your water so that
Mm.
your water gets absorbed by the cells.
Oh,
Because we
okay.
pee out our water. We have all this beautiful water at our fingertips, but we're just peeing it out, not absorbing it. So that's crucial. I use Ultima Replenisher. It's a really beautiful mineral powder. It's not like high sodium chloride, but it's magnesium, manganese, potassium, zinc, C, and like chloride.
And you put this in every time you drink your water.
I do it every time, but I probably do it 1 to 2 times a day. I do
Okay.
32 ounces. I dilute it because it can be a little strong in the stevia.
Okay.
Game changer.
Tell
So
me what the name of it is.
Ultima,
Ultima.
Ultima
Okay.
replenisher.
Okay.
So game changer for me, the juicing with the fiber, game changer for detoxifying. You
Yes.
know, celery helps detox your gut. Cucumber helps detox your kidneys. So it's just beautiful. Also, I would say the fiber part, is
Yeah.
detoxifying. I would say, the cruciferous vegetables, like I love broccoli, cauliflower, if they agree with you, they're hugely detoxifying. You
What do
know,
you think, Alyssa, about, because I've heard mixed things about cooking your vegetables versus eating them raw?
it depends on you, what agrees with you.
Okay.
So I think cooking is fine and raw is fine, but I have to tell you, raw doesn't always agree with me.
Me
So,
either.
right, cooking and steaming or roasting is better for me.
Yeah. Okay. That's
So
good.
I think again, you can tell with your gut. There's also like there's beautiful detoxifying supplements. Chlorophyll is detoxifying in your water. That's a beautiful one. I'm trying to think of like I just blanked out on the ones I love at the moment. Like Pure Encapsulations makes a GI liver detoxifying supplement that's crazy amazing.
Hmm.
So, and also, if you really need to detox on a heavy scale, activated charcoal, as well as bentonite clay, those kind of things. There's beautiful, supplements that can also help you like detox at a deeper level and infrared saunas, sweating, and, that's detoxing at the cellular organ level.
Yes. Yes, I try to go in the sauna as much as possible. I've read so many studies how it just decreases your blood pressure and helps with your heart and so many different things. And it's really the best way to get microplastics out of your system.
It is.
Speaking of microplastics, how do you like tackle that? I mean, seriously, like what do you the all the things you just said, it sounds like help will help detoxify you from those things. But is there anything else that you haven't mentioned that we could all do?
It's like just try to stay away from them.
Yeah, I know.
Like, know what things have, plastic water bottles and
Right.
just try to like investigate, seeing clean products, just, having,
I want to add in one thing too. You just said no plastic water bottles. That's obviously people know that that's contributing out to microplastics. I think another important thing that everyone should also take note of is so our Mama Soul sunscreens, like the face and the lip, are packaged in glass. And that
yeah,
a big reason is because when you're filling product in plastic, it's warm and they can probably, leach the plastics and then you're putting microplastics on your skin. So I think buying more glass products is good. Our body sunscreen isn't 100% sugar cane, so there's no petrochemicals. So I just think like being
yeah,
more mindful of what you're putting on your skin in addition to what you're eating and drinking is really
right. And then the packaging of your foods and right.
right.
Also the receipts from the store, they have BPA in them. You know that? Like
No. Oh,
those,
yes, yes, yes. I do know that. My husband screams at me whenever I touch a receipt.
yeah, touch a receipt, don't touch receipts.
Yeah,
Ask for an email receipt. I know
right.
it's a little hard. You have to sign the receipt, but
Yeah, no,
um,
I feel bad for these people at the checkout that have to touch receipts all day. I think about them. I truly do.
yeah,
Okay. So for women who get sick often or they feel run down, what are your top immune supporting habits, especially ones that can be built into a busy routine?
yeah. I mean, sleep is number one. Okay.
Yes.
Just, being conscious of that. Secondly, is vitamin D. There's a vitamin D cell receptor in every cell in your body. And everybody that I do their blood work on, their vitamin D levels are so low,
Yeah.
even sometimes when they take vitamin D. So you want to take vitamin D with fat. because it's a fat soluble vitamin. So a lot of people aren't doing that. My favorite one is Quicksilver liposomal D and K2. It already has a phospholipid on it, 5,000 IU. You have to have your D over 50, I feel, to be cognitively functioning well as immunity.
I'm going
Okay.
to ask you after this to send me the name of
Okay.
that because I want everybody to be able to purchase that one you just said. And that was
Awesome. It's a
that
liquid.
was the
It's
vitamin D that you're saying?
vitamin D and
Okay.
K2. Yeah.
And
And
K2.
the other thing I've loved in the last couple of years is cholesterol powder. It's been a immune game changer. Cholesterol helps heal the gut from getting any viral, bacterial, fungal issues. It promotes cell growth. It builds immunoglobulins. It really helps your immune system.
Which colostrum do you take?
I like Amra, which is all,
Oh, I know Amra. Okay,
yeah.
great.
And
Very
you
nice.
kind of have to take 2 grams at a minimum to have it do anything.
Okay. And you
Okay.
do that once a day. You just do
Yeah.
the two things once a day.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
great. So you've said that emotions play a key role in healing and nervous system regulation. How do you see the mind-body connection showing up in your clients and in your healing?
Oh God, such a loaded question. 'Cause, I mean, you know, it's just, first of all, the first 7 years of your life, your subconscious is fully downloaded, which I always blows my mind because we operate 95% out of our subconscious, 5% conscious. So if we've had any kind of trauma in those first 7 years, it doesn't even have to be death, divorce, abuse, sexual abuse, whatever, all of those really horrific traumas. It could be someone telling you you're not smart, you're not pretty, you'll never amount to anything, or, your friend betrays you, lies to you, whatever. It could be small traumas that we recirculate in our subconscious
Hmm.
and it downregulates our immune system continually. So, unless we have the ability to tap into the subconscious thoughts and release those, it's really hard to be ultimately the healthiest you can be, I feel. So, there's a lot of modalities. There's hypnosis, there's breath work, there's, plant medicine, there's
Yeah,
chocolate, cacao ceremonies. There's like beautiful ways to tap into your subconscious. Even sometimes maybe you can do it with therapy, but I haven't seen that subconscious so much with therapy, but I do plant medicine, I do cacao ceremonies, I do breath work.
yeah,
I have done years of that stuff because I had a tremendous amount of trauma growing up.
yeah,
So when I have released these thought patterns or stories that I've told myself that I feel like are true, but when I go into my subconscious and realize they weren't true, it's such, oh my God, everything changes.
yeah, for
Like
sure.
I did a ceremony, like my thyroid wasn't doing well. I did a blood work on my thyroid and my antibodies before the ceremony, then waited about a month, did more blood work. My thyroid was back functioning, my antibodies were down. I swear to God, I feel like that was from
Wow.
my journey, you know? I
Wow.
mean, I just think it's so crazy powerful when you can really get to a exhale to a, okay, I'm okay. Like I'm safe. Like everything's going to be fine in my
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
Uh, when you're not living in that fight or flight or that stressed out mode continually, everything changes for your health, you
One of
know?
the things I learned recently from a book I was reading was write down all the things that you're scared of. Like, what is the worst thing that could happen? And then kind of respond to each one in and kind of counteract what you're saying to spin it,
Yeah.
right? So, like, I'm scared I'm gonna, run out of money and I'm gonna lose my house. But is that
Yeah.
really what's gonna happen? And I think it's just like rewiring your brain is what
Yeah.
is so important. Okay.
Really is. I mean, everybody that I see on a client level who has cancer, autoimmune, digestive issue, like just hardcore stuff, their head is here, their body's here. They're not connected. They're disconnected.
Right.
And we don't even realize how disconnected we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just like to reconnect is powerful.
Yeah. No, I'm so glad you're putting so much emphasis on that because I think people are just they don't even like think about the mind when they're in their healing journey. And it's just, I honestly, I feel like it could be like 90% of your healing journey.
I think it could be too.
Yeah. So you've shared how blood sugar swings, stress, and nutrient depletion can create a cycle of anxiety and low energy. What are your go-to strategies to calm anxiety, boost your energy, especially for busy moms?
So anxiety is a big one. Really, getting tested also to see where your hormones are at, to see like if that's causing anxiety with the hormones off balance. Also to see where your blood sugar, insulin, all those things are. So we just don't do our thyroid, it causes anxiety. So see, like doing a full blood panel on all of those things is really crucial. But anxiety, really, there's some of my go-tos. The one thing that I absolutely love is L-theanine. It's amino acid, and it's so beautiful for anxiety. It's
Mm.
L-theanine, 200 milligrams. You could take up to 600, I think, minimum a
Is
day.
this the brand name or is this the name of the
This
actual?
is the actual
Okay.
ingredient. It's
Okay.
amino acid. You can get thorn, you can get pure encapsulations, all kinds of L-theanine. It's 200 milligrams. You can take it throughout the day, 200 3 times a day. You can take it before bed. It's in a lot of sleep supplements. It's in a lot of anti-anxiety supplements. So that's something that I've had tremendous success with. It's in matcha as well.
Oh,
So I love that. I also love Tulsi tea. It's holy basil. It's the queen of adaptogens. So I drink Tulsi all day long, and it helps my clients who have anxiety. It just calms their central nervous system down. The other thing is B complex vitamins, methylated folate, methylcobalamin B12 are really high end Bs, but Bs are water soluble. They really help calm your stress and they'll help with anxiety. There's so much with anxiety, but those are, I think, my go-tos and kind of tried and true.
I
Uh,
think that's so great to talk about that because so many women, including myself, I had to get on anti-anxiety medication after I gave birth. It
yeah,
was, and I think, our community is a lot of moms, and I think this would be for the women who don't want to get on,
yeah.
anti-anxiety medication, which there's nothing wrong with. I did it myself, but if you want to go the holistic route, I never even thought of doing that, honestly. And I love that you just mentioned that.
And progesterone is the anti-anxiety hormone. So if your progesterone is down, you can get compounded progesterone and feel a million times better.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
really good to know. You mentioned screenings. There's, when you go to the doctor and they do a screening, you're not really getting the full, they don't really test your hormones really very much. I mean, you really have to ask for certain tests. Which tests do you, outside of what the doctor recommends, would you recommend?
Oh my God. I do a full like CBC with differential panel because it tells you your viral, bacterial, fungal loads. I do whole metabolic A1C, blood sugar, insulin. I do whole thyroid, TSH, free T3, free T4, reverse T3, like antibodies. I do heavy metals. I do all hormones. I do cortisol levels. Like it's just kind of really important once a year to
Yeah.
know what you're dealing with,
Do you ask your general physician for all these tests?
I do it myself. I have a lab that I work with and I send my kits all over the country. And we have a phlebotomist that comes and takes the blood and sends it back and I read it. So I was trained in functional medicine over COVID and it's probably one of the funnest things I get to do.
So, would you say going to a functional medicine doctor, you could get all of these
You
tests?
could.
Yeah.
You could even ask me and I could send you what I asked for.
Okay.
Yes. But a
Okay.
lot of times they don't even do that. A lot of them, so all of
This
it.
is amazing advice.
Yeah.
Okay. So, as someone who has faced cancer and Hashimoto's firsthand, what would you want more women to know about your cancer prevention and long-term wellness?
I would, what we talked about, like just trying to get a sense of peace for yourself, just
Yes,
self-love is crucial. I ask every client, do you love yourself? And everyone says no, and no one's ever asked them that. So can we find some self-love for ourselves with our imperfections that could also give us some peace,
I
and,
love that.
and like can give us some calming effect for our body. I mean, I just think I just never had it. I never knew how to put myself first. I never knew how I thought self-love was egotistical. So it isn't. It's self-preservation. I mean, it's crucial.
I think the best way, in my opinion, to get more self-love is with affirmations. How is that? Would you agree?
I would agree. Yeah. Affirmations and just really tapping into like what lights you up, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And that's just super crucial. And then just like, it's not rocket science here. It's actually sleeping, staying hydrated, it's moving your body, it's eating real
Yeah.
food.
Moving your
It's
body.
like,
I could use more of that.
it's just like you don't have to do hardcore running or spinning or you just move your body
Move your body. I
day.
know. I need to do more. I really do. I mean, talking to you right now, I'm like, I need to go on a walk and just like move myself.
Yeah, walking is so helpful for lowering your blood sugar,
Yeah.
for anxiety relief, all of
Yeah.
it.
One of
So,
the things that I did in my journal was I wrote down like 5 things that make me happy. Because when I get down, I turn to those 5 things and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do one of those things because it's going to turn my mood around.
yeah,
So that's just some good advice, I think, for other women, other busy moms too. Like I have, taking a nap, which I never get to do, or taking a bath, or going on a walk with my dog, or like journaling or meditating, whatever it is. I really strive to do at least a couple of those a day to keep my mental health like at its best
that's
for
beautiful.
me and my kids. Yeah. Okay. So I have a couple more questions and then the audience had some, so
Okay.
I narrowed it down. So, okay, are there any overlooked daily habits, whether it's how we eat, how we manage stress, how we move, that you wish more women prioritized in their health?
Uh, well, all three.
I know. I think
What we've
that
been talking
sums it
about, I
up.
mean, more vegetables,
Yeah.
like more fiber in their diet, like it will be life changing for them.
Yeah.
Everybody's constipated these days, so
Yes.
secondly, it's just trying to get the 10,000 steps in. Again, just going out in sunshine and
Yeah.
walking, getting out in nature. Like it's none of this stuff costs a lot. So
No. I think that's a big misconception too. Like people like think they have to overhaul their entire like, everything in their fridge and they have to do all these big changes, but it's really just like prioritize your mental health and get outside.
totally. And just slow down. Like I feel like everybody I'm talking to is moving a million miles an hour and I get it.
Yeah.
And I know that it's a very tough time right now. I mean, we're in a very tough, economic time. We're in a tough political time. Like it is overload. So if I have one piece of advice
Yes.
that sometimes I don't take for myself is getting off of social media and not watching the news all the time.
Yes.
Not watching the news first thing in the morning. So, I mean, it can be crazy making.
I
But
think that's such good advice. I mean, the thing that I try to always remind myself at night is, there's like a book I want to read, for example, and I am always like, I have people saying like, I never have time to read, and I always say, you have time for what you make time for, what you really want.
right.
And so I noticed when I started thinking that way, I was like, I'm watching way too much television. I'm doing way too much doom scrolling on Instagram. And if you just eliminated that and you focused more of that time reading, journaling, just not even turning off the television, it is wild how much your life will change. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So before we get into the questions, I just want to tell everybody listening. So if anybody, Elissa, tell us about your bars and what you have, because we're gonna offer Mama Soul 10, which is a
Okay.
coupon, which is gonna apply to all your products on your site.
Okay. So I have these super seed bars that I developed 13 years ago that are on the cleanse. They're also sold at Erewhon, but I have to say that the way we make them is far superior than Erewhon does. Erewhon makes them for me and sells them. But yes, the super seed bars are all natural, just real food. We also just developed a cacao bar. It has a thin layer of cacao on the bottom of the super seed bar. And the reason why I developed the cacao bar was because cacao has been such a crazy healing modality for me and a heart opener, like we talked about.
Mm,
So it's just a beautiful thing to eat. And cacao is just so powerful and
yeah.
antioxidants as well. So those are new. We have 3 new bone broths: immune, mood boosting, and anti-inflammatory on the site, and the cleanse. So it's all on elissagoodman.com. And
Great.
if you live in LA, you can get a la carte. You can get our salads, soups, bars, granola, everything. We
Amazing.
ship
I'm going to
across.
be the first one to use that discount code. Okay. And for the lucky people still listening, Alyssa would be happy to give you a 30-minute client session free of charge. So I'm going to pick somebody. I'm just going to point to my screen.
Cool. That's so cool.
Okay, Jessica
Excited.
Sen. Jessica Sen, you were
Yay!
Yay.
Yay! I'm so excited. I've never won anything. I'm one of those people,
That's-
like you enter all these things, like you never win. That's
I can't
amazing.
wait to
Thank
meet you,
you.
Jessica.
Likewise.
Jessica, we'll email you, and then we'll link you up with Alyssa so you can schedule that.
Yeah.
I would love that. Thank you so much. I
You're
appreciate it.
welcome. So
Yay!
to end our session, we just have we had at least 30 questions, but I had to
Okay.
narrow it down to like five. So,
Okay.
okay. And actually, we've answered some of them, but I would say, okay, what are your go-to daily habits for hormone balance and longevity, especially during menopause or after cancer?
Oh, well, that's like so loaded,
Yeah,
I mean, menopause is different than, I guess, than cancer. I mean, again, I mean, menopause and hormones and cancer are affected by sugar, like we talked about. So
right.
we really got to watch the desserts and the sugars that we're ingesting, I think that's crucial because
Yep.
when I do take people off of sugar for 5 days, their life completely changes. So that's important. I mean, cancer is about getting nutrients. There's a supplement right now, a powdered multi that I'm absolutely loving called I am 8. It's designed by David Beckham. I don't usually like celebrity
Yeah.
supplements, but it is a beautiful supplement. It tastes good. It has all your vitamins and minerals. It's really high quality, antioxidants, adaptogens, probiotics, CoQ10. Crazy amazing supplement. You put it in water, you drink it. It's like gives you everything.
And you don't need to be recovering from cancer for that. That's for everybody.
That's
Yeah.
for everybody. Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
So, cancer is really detoxing like the toxins out of your system from the chemo or radiation. It's replenishing your body with the good healthy foods and replenishing your gut with probiotics and nourishing all that because it really does destroy a lot of that.
Yes.
Um, but for the other stuff, for hormones and just life in general, there's things that are just beautiful, like the vitamin D and the
Yeah.
IM8. And also something that I'm doing, I'm writing a book right now called Aging Hacks, because I wrote about cancer hacks. It was a story of what my husband and I did right and wrong in our cancer journey. But the aging hacks has been like what I've done to age right and wrong. It's really fun because right now I feel the best I've ever felt, and I'm 65.
Wow.
So
First
uh,
of all, I'm in shock that you're 65. Oh my God.
I've
You look
never felt better in
amazing.
my life. So
Wow. Well, I can't wait to read that
yeah,
book. Wow. That's
yeah.
really, I'm just in awe. So the other questions are very repetitive. I think we've answered them all. You are such a wealth of knowledge. I'm so happy to have had you on here, and I cannot wait for more people to see this episode. It's just, wow. I'm like, can't wait to buy your book. I want to look like you when
I
I'm
know. I can't
65.
wait till it comes out. I know it's really fun. It's fun. There's so much at our fingertips.
Yeah.
Just have to be able to, kind of be able to navigate through all the information to
Yeah.
figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. But there's some really amazing stuff out there to turn back the clock.
Well, thank you so much, Alyssa. This was amazing, and I am so glad to have you in our network and our community, and I hope more people find this so helpful as much as I did.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. See you soon.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Bye.